If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With the all-new Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from good to excellent. Introducing the new Sleep Score on Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do? I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault. A new series streaming now only on Peacock.
Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary listeners, heroes and heroines, crooks and crookians, Chad Kroger and Dwayne Johnson, the audio performance you are about to enjoy discusses casinos and gambling. We do not recommend gambling with money you cannot afford to lose or that is needed to pay bills. If you have a gambling problem, contact your problem gambling hotline. If you do not know how to contact your problem gambling hotline, send an email to help@casinocombat.com. We will find that number for you and provide it to you. Our hosts' past performances are not indicative of anyone's future results, including his own. All materials presented here are based on actual facts. Names and dates are changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some events unrelated to outcomes may be omitted in the interest of brevity and clarity. It's me, it's TRG, the Ramblin Gambler. We'll hang out in the coolest bars, in the VIP with the movie stars, and we will spell cool with a K for sure. Mrs. TRG and I sometimes smile at that song. Very literally during the pandemic, out of a little craziness, out of a little boredom, I very literally cut my hair and changed my name, and TRG was born, cause hey, why not be a podcast star? Welcome to episode 134 of our Casino Combat Podcast, the podcast that dares to ask, would you like to walk into a casino and win the game of casino gambling? You can. You actually can. Listeners to this podcast do it on a regular basis. And I'm not saying it's easy. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes things don't go our way, but large portions of the casino-going public think winning on a regular basis is impossible. Doing the impossible shouldn't be easy. It should take some skill, knowledge, and ability to do the impossible. If this is your first time joining me, welcome, welcome, welcome. So thrilled to have you here, and thank you for the gift of your time. However, I just handed you the keys to doing the impossible, and I did so for the amazing low price of free.
What can I say except you're welcome?
But wait, there's more. Very literally, hang around, listen to the episodes, visit the website, cleverly named casinocombat.com. Spell combat with a K. Watch the wagering videos on the Casino Combat YouTube channel. Practice some basic skills that involve very difficult things like counting as high as 21. Actually, sometimes only counting as high as 4. Master those things and you can do the impossible too. Members of our squad do it almost every day. Let's get into the battle plan for episode 134. We're going to start off with a moment of casino wisdom. I made a mistake last episode when I introduced the newest member of the Excelsior Brigade. I said his call sign was Play the Don't. A typing mistake led to a speaking mistake. Our newest member of the Excelsior Brigade is Pay the Don't. A wonderful thing to hear in a casino if you're a dark side craps player. Hearing them call your name certainly has to be fun. So my apologies for the error, but I told you during that introduction that he had sent me a suggestion for a new wisdom, and it is certainly a worthy addition to the Casino Combat Book of Casino Wisdoms, and I'll tell you about it to start things off today. After that, I'm going to do a Moment of Koncepts segment because I recently learned about a psychological fact that I think we all need to be aware of and that I think has value in our time in casinos. I learned it from a Netflix movie of all things. Very, very interesting stuff. Then I'm going to do a results segment. to cover our gambling results from the month of March 2024 before we adjourn to the virtual VIP lounge for a quick story about expectations and goals. There we go. Simple and straightforward. Before we jump into all that, the biggest thing going on in the Casino Combat Galaxy, the TRG-verse as Excelsior Brigade member Same Bet calls it, is the Casino Combat Virtual VIP Lounge. It is no longer only a segment in the podcast. It is an actual virtual space for us to hang out in, compliments of an application called Slack. In just a short period of time, VCPD and Brigade member Emerald Wanderer have located one of the founding members, YouTube star Same Bet or Equine Ensign or Nakatomi Tony, and asked to join the virtual VIP lounge and joined us there. We are thrilled to have them. We are thrilled that they were able to take the time, play the games, and be part of that little group. It's a group that shares our experiences with each other. We support each other. We discuss various play strategies and variations of strategies. We share results. We encourage each other when we have success. We offer some coaching points and ideas when we have struggles. We are a very, very public secret society of gamblers. And if you think that's very funny or silly, you may be right. We may be crazy, but we just might be the lunatics you're looking for. If you think that is a very cool thing, a very neat and wonderful thing to materialize out of a podcast, and you want to be a member, you might also be right. Very literally, you may be wrong for all I know, but you may be right. Mangling of song lyrics aside, if you think it would be useful and valuable to be part of a secret society of professional and semi-professional gamblers, you are invited to join us. And here is how this works. There are 2 steps. The first step, be a member of the Inner Circle or the Excelsior Brigade of Casino Combat. If you're not aware of that or familiar with that or don't know how that works, listen to episode 22 and I'll tell you how to do that. Once you finish step 1, and over 30 people already have, then step 2 is simple. To be one, ask one. In the real world, find and contact one of the founders of the virtual VIP lounge, Nakatomi Tony, Same Bet, or Equine Ensign, and ask for an invitation. A Slack invite will be on its way to you. That's your key to the Casino Combat virtual VIP lounge. Let me clear up one thing, and then we'll get started with the rest of the episode. I caused some problems for the guys when I said during episode 133 that friends of the podcast are also eligible to join us in the virtual VIP lounge. They are, and I thought I defined that term fairly and accurately, but perhaps I did not. So I'm going to clear that up. And let me first start by saying I appreciate every single listener. Every single listener. Every listener, even listeners who have never sent me an email, never found us on Instagram, never found the YouTube channel, never felt any need to join the Facebook group, the Casino Combat Squad, never messaged, never text, never email, just listens. Absolutely could not do this and would not do this without you. I appreciate every single private message and email, every Instagram like and comment, every single one of you who have joined that Facebook group, the Casino Combat Squad, and taken any portion of your valuable time to even just hit like. Not alone, to post a question or a trip report. It's probably not possible for me to ramble enough to tell you how much I appreciate all of those things. As an online content creator, those are so very precious, and I can't say thank you enough to each and every one of you. And we want every one of you who has done any of those things to complete the 2 steps and join us in the virtual VIP lounge. We really and truly do. But friend of the podcast is a very specific thing. It's people who could complete step 1 so easily that it serves no purpose. But it's people who could complete step 1 very, very easily. I gave a couple of examples in episode 133. A listener I have known since before I was legally allowed to drink alcohol that knows my real name and home address. Anyone who has that information can easily join the Excelsior Brigade. It's a simple thing. Likewise, neither Mrs. TRG nor Atlantic City Empress have joined the Excelsior Brigade. And both would be allowed into our virtual VIP lounge as friends of the podcast if they decided that's something they wanted to do. And again, both would know enough about the man who plays TRG on the internet to qualify easily the official way if that was something they needed to do. So I'm sorry for any confusion I caused in not explaining Friends of the Podcast well enough. This is all a made-up work in progress, everybody. I'm just an old Ramblin Gambler who wanted to share what he knows with all of you and made some friends along the way and found people that want to help coach me up as much as I want to help coach them up, and they're willing to do the same for all of you. It's just a two-step process. When it comes to the virtual VIP lounge and membership, hopefully there are not really any no's, just some not yets. Figure out both steps and you are in, and we are looking forward to welcoming you. All right. Let's get started with a moment of casino wisdom. Casino wisdoms take knowledge about how casinos work or how gamblers behave in casinos that I have learned or other people I know have learned and combine them with actions to be taken in certain situations. They're a mnemonic device for me. For other people, they're a mnemonic device. They are a shorthand way to remember things we should do and to remember them in the moment. And I have a new one for you today. Compliments of our newest Excelsior Brigade member, Pay the Don't. And he sent it to me in email, so I want to introduce to you today Casino Wisdom number 35. In your battle against the casino, speed is your enemy. Look for ways to slow down the game. And now what Pay the Don't told me is that he first heard this in a book called Comp City from the author Max Rubin. And it's important that we give credit where credit is due. Neither myself nor Pay the Don't are the very smart gambler who realized or learned this knowledge about how casinos and gamblers work. But it's absolutely on point, and it absolutely is a wisdom. And I've talked around this from time to time. I've talked about some of these ideas as it relates to earning comps and things of that nature. I've talked about how many times take a break, right? So this is a very, very accurate wisdom. In your battle against the casino, speed is your enemy. Look for ways to slow down the game. Now, the author's rationale, Max Rubin's rationale, was that since the casino has the mathematical advantage on every bet, they want as many bets an hour as possible. To guard and protect your bankroll, but maximize your comps, look for ways to slow down the game. And the author has some excellent examples. On table games, seek busier tables rather than empty tables. That's on point, but let me elaborate a bit and explain why that's useful. Busier tables mean more hands being played, which means you individually play less hands per hour, or less hands per shoe, or less hands per visit, or however you would like to look at that. A lot of blackjack players prefer playing heads up, and that's fine. Their logic is other people aren't going to do things to mess them up. Other people aren't going to be annoying. But as I've commented from time to time, the formula for the casino to determine your comps is size of wager, amount of time played, and the house's advantage on the wager. Amount of time played. In blackjack, not hands played. If you're playing heads up and you and the dealer are very competent and very fast, you're going to get a lot more hands in per hour than you are getting comp points for. Likewise, if you can slow things down by either your actions, example, storytelling. Sometimes when I'm playing heads up, I'm playing with a dealer I know, and we'll pause the game because the pit boss knows me. He doesn't care. We'll pause the game, sometimes with the cards on the table, and we'll talk about the goings on at the new Fontainebleau Casino in Las Vegas and the executives they've laid off. Or I'll stop and tell a story. I won't bet, and we'll have a conversation, and I'm getting tier points the whole time. There are ways to slow down games, but the easiest way, the way that requires no action on your part, is to find a busier table rather than an empty table. The author's next point, on table games, take frequent breaks to use the restroom, check your phone, etc. while leaving your chips at the table. All the time. The comp clock is still running. I've told you this before. I have shared some of those exact ideas with you before. And I always love, as I've said, I don't know everything about gambling. I just want to. And it's always wonderful to hear some really smart person who wrote and sold an actual book say the same things I've said. To validate to all of you that this voice you hear coming through your device is correct, at least in the opinion of someone else who is also a knowledgeable gambler. For blackjack, choose games that are hand shuffled instead of machine shuffled. Brilliant. Hard to find. Hard to find a hand shuffled game these days, but if you have a choice between hand shuffled and machine shuffled, hand shuffling is a time waster, which is why a lot of places don't do it. But here's another interesting aspect of this. A very interesting aspect of this. Those shuffle machines aren't bought by the casino. They're rented or they're leased. So I know of several casinos. Casino One is a great example. Casino One has a set of tables that have machine shufflers. And then they have a second set of tables in a second pit that are all hand shuffled. And that pit's only used normally Friday, Saturday nights or big events when they're really busy. So they don't want to pay all day, every day, the cost of those shuffle machines because it would hurt their bottom line. Because they're only going to use those tables for a few hours, a few times a month. But when they're busy, they open those tables up and those tables are hand shuffled. So literally you are walking down an aisle in Casino One, and to your left is the pit that's open all the time, and that's machine shuffled. And to your right is the same game, same limits, same rules, and it's hand shuffled. And this is a choice you could make in that environment. For craps, the author suggests, Mr. Rubin suggests, for craps, don't bet on every shooter. Again, absolutely on point, absolutely brilliant. And there are some things you can do there in terms of picking your shooters. You can, if you play the same place all the time, Casino Wisdom have allies, right? You can figure out who's a good shooter and who's a bad shooter. If you're playing the don'ts, bet on the bad shooters. And if you're playing on the light side, if you're playing for things to happen, bet on the shooters that usually have a lot of tosses before Big Red shows up. His final one, 4 slots. Take a pause between presses or handle pulls and never use the autoplay feature. I don't see autoplays very much. I don't see those very often at all, just once in a while. I'm going to kind of, I included it for completeness. I included it because it's what our Excelsior Brigade member sent over to me. I like the idea of slowing down in the big picture. I'm not sure for slots, particularly the way I play, I'm not sure it's helpful. Slots are not comped by time in the modern world. Slots are comped by presses. Slots are comped by coin in. If you are using TRG slot strategy El Numero Dos, which you can find, in the website, on the website, in the Fred section, in the free to download ebook Casino Combat Slot Tactics. If you're playing TRG slot strategy El Numero Dos, you have a positive exit point. You have a negative exit point. Getting through that process at whatever speed is enjoyable to you is going to result in the same tier points and the same free tax-free imaginary money to spend. It's not going to change anything. There is an efficiency there, and there's also a sense of, and if you're just really kind of chilling out and you want to take your time, go ahead, but it's not going to impact your comps. It's not going to impact particularly what you win or what you lose. It's just how fast do you generate a random number, and how fast does the machine show you the outcome of that random number. So perhaps the author and I would have a fun time over a root beer talking through that one and seeing if that really does any good. I'm not so sure I'm convinced, but the rest of this is excellent. And the other aspect of this wisdom that I would highlight is there is also, and I've talked about this a bunch and I'll talk about it probably continuously, there is a lot of mental skill value. I almost said mental health value, and perhaps that's true as well. Gambling generates dopamine in the human brain. Human body likes dopamine. Stepping away from where you can gamble to a part of the casino where you cannot gamble or where you don't gamble, a video poker bar if you don't play video poker, etc., etc., looking at the fountain, looking at the Buddha statue, going and getting a beverage, it reduces the dopamine level in your brain. And if you reduce the dopamine level in your brain for a little bit, you tend to think through things a little more clearly. The casino, in almost all cases, will be there when you are ready. The gambling tables, the gambling machine, will be there again for you when you are ready, whether that is 5 minutes or 5 hours. The house will still be there. There is a lot of value and a lot of skill involved in knowing when to just step away, even if you're not stepping away for the purpose of generating comps. A lot of value to that. Great insights there, particularly the walk away from the blackjack table or the craps table, leave your chips there, tell them to hold your spot, and go do something for a short period of time. Bathroom, phone check. In my case, I often play to the end of a shoe, and then step away and record the outcomes and let that dopamine level come down a little bit. Let yourself think a little bit. Where am I at? What's going on? And that's the other advantage of these breaks. The time to analyze. I don't know how many times, because I haven't kept track, I should keep track, but I don't know how many times I've taken a positive exit and thought, I'm short. I'll take a break. I'll walk away. I'll go say hi to some people. I'll go look at the Buddha statue, and then I got to come win the rest of this money for the day before I'm done. Well, in the process of stepping away and recording the results, I'll often realize, I'm 2 units. I'm a unit and a half away from my goal for the day. There's no reason to put money at risk anymore. It's close enough. And that's in the getting out of things. That's in the taking a break. That is in the slow things down. Max Rubin is right. We are in a battle. That is why it is called casino combat. Not a battle in which we want to destroy the casino. We're never going to win the war. That's not the job. We are trying to win the battle. We are trying to win the day. I have said before, very early in the process, I see what I do in the casino as an amateur wrestling mat. I am trying to make the casino submit for 3 seconds, metaphorically. I am trying to put shoulders to the mat for a very short period of time and walk away. And I'll come back and have another match again at some point. Speed is an enemy. Slow down your thoughts, slow down your play to increase your comps. Slow down your play to make sure you're seeing the situation properly. All kinds of benefits to slowing things down. And that is a wonderful casino wisdom to add to the book, Casino Wisdom number 35. Our gratitude to author of Comp City, Max Rubin, and our gratitude to our newest Excelsior Brigade member, Pay the Don't, for bringing this to my attention. All right, one of my favorites up next, A Moment of Koncepts.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind.
Thing means nothing.
What? A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination.
I like to take Moment of Koncepts segments and try to encourage you to think big thoughts, to stare into the abyss of human existence, sometimes by combining a core concept and a moment of casino wisdom idea, sometimes by just looking at the human psyche, looking at who we are and how we are and what we are, and ways that self-knowledge makes us better at the game of casino gambling, that lets us be more skilled, more self-aware, more knowledgeable, to elevate us, if I may brag in that way, to elevate all of us to a higher level of skill, ability, focus, and understanding than the average civilian, the average tourist walking into a casino. to elevate us above the person walking in and thinking, well, I have $200 to lose. Let's have some fun losing it. So the story about the segment to get to the segment. Before we went on the cruise, Mrs. TRG and I were looking for something to watch on television on a Friday night. And as I'm scrolling through, as many of you do, the various streaming services we have, I come across a new movie on Netflix called Queen Pins. And it has Kristen Bell in it, and it has Vince Vaughn in it, and usually anything therein is enjoyable. And the premise of the movie was two women who turn extreme couponing into a business, and a somewhat illegal business. Kristen Bell is a 3-time gold medal winning former Olympic race walker who's now a housewife. And early in the movie, she says to some other character, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I'm a winner. I'm going to win. That's a real thing. There's a book and everything. It's a winning effect. I always win. And I just made a little note about that. And so I went and looked it up. And it turns out there really is a book called The Winning Effect. And it really is a real thing. Or the author of the book and other psychologists claim it is a real thing. I happen to think it is. You can decide for yourself. But I thought it was really, really interesting. And I also thought that I was not going to, in the modern age, spend $20-25 on a book and put in the time to read the book. No, I instead went to ChatGPT to find out if the winning effect was in fact considered a real thing, if other people believed that the winning effect was a real thing. And so I said, what is the winning effect, ChatGPT? And ChatGPT being what it is, it promptly spit out a long answer, and this is what ChatGPT said. The winning effect, and that's in quotes, must be important, is a psychological phenomena where success in one area leads to increased confidence and motivation, thereby improving performance in subsequent tasks or challenges. The effect is often observed in various domains, including sports, academics, and business, and I would suggest and gambling. When individuals experience success, whether it's winning a competition, achieving a goal, or receiving positive feedback, they tend to feel more capable and competent. This boost in self-confidence can enhance their belief in their abilities, leading them to approach future tasks with a more positive mindset and greater determination. As a result, they are more likely to put forth effort, persist in the face of obstacles, and ultimately achieve further success. The winning effect is closely related to concepts such as self-efficacy, which refers to an individual's belief in their ability to accomplish specific tasks or goals, and positive reinforcement, which rewards or positive outcomes reinforce behavior and increase the likelihood of its reoccurrence. Overall, the winning effect highlights the importance of recognizing and celebrating success, as they can serve as powerful catalysts for continued growth and achievement. There you go. The winning effect. Our Casino Combat podcast has been teaching you this since day one, and I've been learning it from teaching all of you. I said at one point, and I don't remember which episode, and I'm not going to look it up, but I said, when you go through the process and reach a winning exit point, learn to love that feeling. Learn to love that feeling more than the feeling of trying to keep winning. Love that sense of accomplishment. Celebrate that success. Want to feel that way again. That's the winning effect. I discovered accidentally. This dopey IT guy from the middle of nowhere, from parts unknown, figured out the winning effect, a psychological phenomena. And I figured it out, and I told all of you about it. One of these things that jumps out at me here. As a result, they, meaning us, are more likely to put forth effort, persist in the face of obstacles, and ultimately achieve further success. That's the play stack at -5 and no win stack. That's the face of obstacles. And the winning effect, the past history you have had winning using that tool, allows you to face that obstacle, remain calm, remain positive, and move forward and ultimately achieve further success. This is absolutely one of those things I see in my own life. This is one of those things that if you can start to have some success, you separate yourself from everyone else. This is the casino wisdom. Have a winning mindset or don't gamble. And this is what separates you and us and me and we from they and them, from Sad Sack Sally, from Kient. This is what separates us, the winning effect. And how do you build the winning effect? I love that Same Bet's been doing this. And he had a rough patch here, but I love that he's been doing this. Same Bet has been using a very low, very achievable, positive exit point when he's working through things. He's doing that to build bankroll. He's doing that to make sure he's learned the techniques properly. But what's he also doing? He's building this winning effect into his brain. He's building this muscle memory. He's building this mental toughness. He's building the mindset. He's building the expectation that he will win. And I'm going to tell you a story when we get to the virtual VIP lounge in a little bit, in a couple segments, about how that winning mindset then manifests into the real world, into your life. That expectation of winning. You can build this. You build this through the core concepts, one of which is win a small set amount and leave. That creates the winning effect in you. That creates the belief that you are going to win the next time. That creates the mental toughness to deal with adversity and obstacles when they happen. And now, thanks to a funny movie on Netflix, we know that this is not just some guy on the interwebs yakking about what he thinks might be true. We know that the winning effect is a psychological phenomena, that the core concepts and the casino wisdoms are built on real things in the human brain. And that means it's just our job to make sure we realize it, to make sure we make it happen, to make sure that we reinforce it, to make sure that we recognize and celebrate our successes because they are essential to our success the next time. And that is a form of wisdom. That is a form of knowledge. And that's what these segments are all about. Okay, enough mind bending. Let's do a results segment and let's look at the results for the month of March 2024. All right, results. Super important. I'm very dedicated to them. I'm very dedicated to them, even when they're not fun for me, because I think that's almost more important for all of you than the ones that are fun for me. It was a blast to come on here, episode after episode, for over 56 days, for over 2 months, and have great wins to talk about. And it's not fun the time or two every year that I've got to talk about not winning, and this is certainly going to be the most not winning I've ever talked about. If you recall, in the last episode, I had a nice run up to the point where we got on the boat. I went on the boat without the Casino Concept 10 ounces of sterling silver ring. I had horrible results on the boat. Nothing went my way. Even said to Mrs. TRG at one point that if this was the first time I'd ever done this, I would never do it again. And that was true. And I came back a couple days off because we had to travel back, and I came back and I got back into the swing of things, and I once again had a losing day. And a losing day where I was just struggling constantly. Not a lot of fun. So I decided to bow to superstition in some ways and ordered the necessary spacer for the ring and kept at it, and things felt normal. Got back in the groove of things. Started having winning days again. Let me just take a quick look at the results spreadsheet here. Find the right spot. Apologies for the pause. Finally got back on track with things. A winning day, another winning day. Couple losing tables, but turned it back around. Kind of got into a groove. Knew I wasn't probably going to get back everything lost on the boat, but was hoping to have a fighting chance at offsetting some of it. Set the money aside against things that had gone bad rather than put it aside for taxes or those types of things. And on the last day of the month, good, bad, or otherwise, decided to make a run 2 hours east and south and go to Casino 1. And this was kind of a plan around your promotion situation. I had a hotel comp. I had a minor food comp. I had good match bets. And as importantly, they started their new year. They started their new tier cycle. Actually, not year. It's a 6-month cycle. But they started their new tier cycle. I wanted to get some points. And I don't want to lose the fact that this is a nice, close, full-service casino that we really like. And we hadn't been there in quite a while. And I didn't want those comps to start to disappear because we really do use them a lot often during the summer just for a quick getaway date night. And Mrs. TRG had plenty of things going on a Thursday, and I ran over there and got off to a rocky start, took a table loss, and then recovered from that and won some money, and then lost some money, and basically took a 0 exit from the building. But it was not a profitable 2 weeks. There's no way I can suggest that it was a profitable 2 weeks. And so probably the best thing we can do here all the way around is for me to just be as transparent as possible and break into a summary for the month of March 2024 and run through the numbers for you. I always think this is important because one of our core concepts is to play for the month, not for the table, the machine, or the day. And I think it's important that I'm very transparent with you all and that you hear how things have gone for me. And as I said, this is the worst result I'm going to have given you in the entire time this podcast has existed. And it's not particularly a lot of fun. Normally, this is where I say I'm not bragging or boasting, but let's be honest, no one is going to think this is bragging or boasting in any way, shape, or form. This is just results for the sake of being transparent. If you are new here, if you are not familiar, I have a day's pay number that I try to win each day that I go to the casino, or try to win each opportunity I have. And I divide all my results, all the comps, all the free stuff, all the slot wins, all the everything, all the expenses, I divide by that number so that we can do things on a $1 a day scale. And that way, if you're in Zimbabwe and you earn the equivalent of $5 a day, then multiply everything that I tell you by $5. And if you work on Wall Street and you make $50,000 a day, multiply everything I'm going to tell you by 50,000, and that should give you a good sense of where this amount of money would fit into your life. So here we go. Profit or loss from tables. Minus $19 and round up $19.08. Little over 19 days pay lost. And boy, does that hurt, because you know I'm always much happier to tell you that there were 20 working days in the month and I made 25 days pay, and I've done that plenty of times. In the big picture, this is the worst loss taken, and certainly money out of the safe and money out of the bank to make up for it to keep playing. What else is there to say? Not fun. We played a total of 69 blackjack tables, 38 of them winning tables, 31 of them losing tables. I did dig into that just a little bit more, and what I saw is a couple of things. A number of those, quote, winning tables were basically 0 exits. So it's great that there are more winning than losing tables, but a lot of them were small wins because I was taking a 0 exit after trying to come from behind. And obviously the losses were larger than the wins. In the big picture, played 11 craps tables, 4 of them winning, 7 of them losing. So losing craps, losing blackjack, tough combination there. No way to sugarcoat that. On the slot side, we had a profit playing slots of 7 cents on the $1 a day scale. That is unusual. Usually we have to offset some small losses with some wins on the slot side. But winning month this month with slot play with cash using TRG slot strategy El Numero Dos from the downloadable book Casino Combat Slot Tactics, which you can find in the Fred section of the website. We received 60 cents. Sorry for the misspeak there. We received 60 cents in free slot play and won 63 cents on that free slot play. So a positive win on the slot side of things this month. Can't complain about that. Another winning month playing slots, and not a lot of people get to tell you every month that they make money playing slots. That's a unique thing to be able to do. Profit or loss from gambling. $38, $18.38. We're rounding up here on the $1 a day scale. We had big expenses because we had a drink package on the boat. We had Wi-Fi package on the boat. We had transportation down to the airport. We had transportation from the airport to the port and back again. We had some other miscellaneous expenses related to being on a cruise. Our expenses were $7.63. Total profit or loss from gambling after expenses minus $26. Yuck. Comps, $11.27 in comps. That makes sense. The cruise was comped. And it makes sense that our comps were greater than our expenses. And that's a wonderful thing. And in the big picture, that's a good ratio. The big problem here is multiple days of losing. Match bets, 28 cents in match bets, $1.52, $1 round up, $1.52 in free bets, 86 cents in gifts. Where does that leave us? Where does that finish this whole thing up at? Total value or total expense in our lives for the month, minus $11.31. Even the comps and the gifts couldn't save us on this one. This is truly a Casino Combat losing month. No other way to say it. We lost. And we lost in rather spectacular fashion. And as long as it's once every 4 years, I guess that won't be a big deal. And if it starts being more than once every 4 years, we may have to rely on that last little disclaimer every episode. In 10 years, we may find out I was wrong about all of this, and that'd be a shame. We won't know till we know. No point in getting back to it other than getting back to it. What are the high points here? If there's a pause to be taken out of this, winning money on slots certainly helps. Winning cash money on slots when playing with cash money is a wonderful and rare accomplishment, particularly because we had no hand pays. We had no pay. The largest payout we had was a little more than a day's pay. Particularly on the boat, we had lots of consistent small wins with TRG slot strategy El Numero Dos. A couple nice bigger wins, but consistent small wins over and over and over again. Still believe that Devil's Lock is a very beatable machine and a machine that we certainly enjoy beating. The other positive here, if there is one, it's that given the cost of cruises, given the things that I see in some online groups that I'm in and what people pay for the cruise we took, to have spent basically 11 days pay in total, cruise, Wi-Fi, drink package, transportation to from hotels before and after, tips and gratuities. 11 days pay is certainly a cruise at a discount. That's also the ports and fees. Certainly a cruise at a discount. Not the way I'd want to do it. But then again, this is our third cruise in the last 12 months. If we were buying them with cash, we would maybe take one every 3, 4, 5 years. So this is still a very economical way of cruising. I just got to be better. And I got to trust that maybe if I keep the ring on a little more and my wits about me, that'll all turn around. So there you go. I'm not sugarcoating it. Losing month. Fun in a lot of ways. But the money's the part that counts in so many other ways. And we're just going to put this one down in the books and get back to it and start the new month off right. Hopefully not with an April Fool's. The next thing we're going to do is adjourn to the virtual VIP lounge for some sips and a quick fun story.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Welcome to the most must-listen to segment in casino lifestyle podcasting, the Virtual VIP Lounge. Our lounge is open, and we have the best virtual everything virtually all the time, and that includes the best virtual adult beverages, the most delicious virtual food served in any virtual VIP lounge anywhere on the interwebs, guaranteed, or your money back. As always, if you can, press pause, pour yourself something, fix a plate, join me as you would in a real-world VIP lounge, and let's spend some time. I love VIP lounges in the real world, the dying breed that they are. Great place to hang out with friends, great place to make new friends, great place to swap casino stories. Little different today. Wish I could tell you I was drinking a bourbon. Wish I could tell you I had some Canadian whiskey here. Wish I could tell you I was doing a mimosa. I'm not. I actually have a protein shake here. It's early. I got to get up and get after it and get going here after I finish this segment. Got to send this off to edit and got to get on with the rest of my life. Got to do some other things. So protein drink today, but that doesn't change the fact that this is still virtually a great place for sips and stories amongst friends old and new. And this one's a good one. And this one, I think there are a few things to be learned. Certainly it's a fun one to share. And this goes back years and years and years ago. This goes back decades ago to before the point in time where casino gambling was allowed in my state. And my regular casino at that point, the place that I hung out about 3 times a month, sometimes once a week, was Casino One, which it was the closest full-service casino to my home at that time. And I would often plan around my promotions. And obviously we are now in the story about the story to get to the story. But I would often plan around my promotions, and it doesn't work this way anymore. They've changed the schedule. At the time, I was offered 1 comp night a week and a resort credit of $50 to spend on whatever I might want to spend it on. And I would have free bets. I'm sorry, match bets. It's Casino One. Match bets, not free bets. But I would have match bets that went Sunday through Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And Wednesday was the day that Mrs. TRG would almost always call her mom and talk to her mom on the phone for a couple hours in the evening. And so I would go down after work on Wednesdays and I would check in, and the food credit would take care of breakfast and dinner and breakfast the next day. And I would have free bets on Wednesday night, and I would have free bets on Thursday morning, and then I would turn around and head back. It was a very efficient system. It was a very efficient way of building tier points and free tax-free imaginary money, and it was the closest casino I could get to. So this is a long, long time ago. The young squire was probably, he's old enough to buy his own health insurance at this point, but he was probably 11, 12 at the time. He was in middle school, and so he and his mom are downstairs, and I'm in my office, and I hear, Dad, we got a problem. So I go join them. Mrs. TRG is pushing the button on the remote for the television, and he is pushing the off-on physical button on the television, and we have sound going off and on, but there's no picture. And this is long enough ago that this was a large and kind of pricey rear projection television, the old big boxes of TVs, and it was a fairly large and, as I said, a fairly pricey one at the time. It's obviously broken. I do some looking on the internet and find that this is a common problem for TVs of this age. There is a transistor or a board or a something that often over time fails because of heat, and the television is probably ruined. And now this is not the end of the world, and not a very interesting story to this point, I confess. But it's clear we're going to need a new television, and it's clear that we're going to be without the main television for a while. We're going to be limited to a small TV in the workout room or a small TV in the bedroom. And so as I'm doing the research and looking at things and going through this, I turn around and the young squire and my wife are both kind of just looking at me with this kind of weird look on their face. Both of them, same expression. And I said, "What?" And they kind of almost said at the same time, "Well, aren't you going to get showered up and get going?" And I said, what? And they said, well, aren't you just going to call Bubba and get a room and go down to the casino and win the money to buy another television? Shouldn't you get started? And I said, wait, you two concluded that because the TV was broken and it's expensive, that I was just going to leave right now and go? And they're like, yeah, aren't you? We've got to replace this. Aren't you just going to go take care of it? And so I said, okay, let me check with Bubba. This was on a weekend. And admittedly, we didn't have much going on as a family. And there were only, the three of us in the house at that point. The other two were off in college. And so I called Bubba. And of course, he was happy to make a room available. And I grabbed my bankroll and head down. And it's an expensive TV. We're not going to do this $5 at a time, right? Winning one is easy. Winning infinity is impossible. I'm not going to buy this expensive television that we need to buy at a $5 table. It's just not going to happen. So I head into the high limit room and said to the pit boss, and they said, oh, hey, it's kind of unusual to see you on the weekend. And I said, yeah, the TV broke and the family just kind of decided that was the best way to buy a new TV. So let's just make this quick and easy. I'm going to play till I win the television and then I'm going to head out. And it took about an hour and a half. But this was not a 3-chip exit situation. This was, I need to win $1,000 to buy a television. I've won $1,000. I'm done. I'm out. I'm up to the hotel room. I'm watching a pay-per-view movie because I had a couple adult beverages on the house while I was playing cards, and there's no band playing tonight. So it is a pay-per-view movie, call it a night, and head back early in the morning kind of visit, and that's fine. It was very interesting for me in that moment, and that's why I remember it so clearly, that their instant conclusion and expectation to this problem was that gambling was the tool to solve it. That the way to solve this problem and not impact the family budget was to use the tool of gambling skill to go win the money to buy the thing that we needed to buy. And it was very gratifying in the end to be able to have that skill and have that knowledge and go down and use what we now call TRG1, the one, the only. This is that far back. I had not yet invented TRG2, TRG3, or TRG4 at this point. It was very gratifying to go down with that knowledge and that skill and take care of that thing the family needed. It was money I could afford to lose. It was the gambling bankroll. If it had been gone or reduced, it would have been built back up and I'd have had to find a different way to buy the television, or we'd have had to do without for a while. But that was probably the first moment that my family looked at a problem and said, the answer to this problem is to just drive to the nearest casino and get the money to solve the problem. And that is a very, as I said, unique, interesting, different way to look at casinos. And I'm certainly happy to have the opportunity to share that point of view with you today. Please tip your waitresses, tip your bartenders, tip your dealers. If you have a host, tip your host, but don't tip away your wins. I have spoken. Everything you heard here is true from a certain point of view. In 10 years, we might find out I was wrong about all of this. It's time for leaving, and I hope you understand I was born a rambling man. Love it, hate it, it don't matter. Please share with your family and friends. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for the gift of your time. The best part of the podcast is next, the Casino Combat Blues.
Did you know that parents rank teaching financial literacy as the toughest life skill? That's where Greenlight comes in, the debit card and money app made for families. With Greenlight, you can send money quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and track spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn how to earn, save, and spend responsibly, while parents have peace of mind knowing smart money habits are being built. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Spotify.
This episode is brought to you by eBay. Buying parts for your car? You'll know that will it work feeling. But on eBay, buying parts is different. eBay's free returns means if it doesn't fit, or if it isn't what you expected, you just print a label, drop it off, and get your refund fast. No haggling, no stress, and at least 30 days to return any eligible item. Millions of parts, free returns. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
For Atlantic City Empress, Casino Combat's ace. There are profits in the casino tonight, I can feel it in my bones. I had a premonition, you should probably play alone. I know the house has that advantage, but that's part of the thrill. If we follow the core concepts, the chips begin to spill. So baby, here's your player's card, put your bankroll in your hand. Use just some of that money now, do it just the way we planned. Just follow the core concepts, and you could win several grand. Well, it's good if it goes down like that, don't have to play to lose. It's gambling as a business, the Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues. The dealers and the pit bosses, the security and the law, the winning and the losing and the tricks nobody saw. No matter if it's blackjack, roulette or craps, you gotta carry defense, cause you always carry cash. There's lots of shady characters, lots of dirty deals. Everybody has an alias, cause that's more fun we feel. It's the lure of winning money, it's got a very strong appeal. Perhaps you'd understand it better standing in my shoes. It's the ultimate enticement, it's the Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues. Whoa. You don't see it in the headlines, you don't hear it every day. No one's trying to stop us, and we don't need to go away. We can gamble in Atlantic City, we can gamble in LA, we can gamble out in Vegas. I mean, we're here to stay. Gambling's propping up the budgets of folks like me and you. You ask any casino manager, he'll say there's nothing he can do. From the pockets of the casino, right down to me and you. Me and you. It's a winning proposition and one you shouldn't refuse. It's just the core concepts, the Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.